Colnago Y1RS or V5RS. Which one is right for you? Well, in this video, let's talk about the differences that actually matter. Probably the most common conversation I have on Instagram, especially with people who are reaching out to me, is around the choice between these two bikes behind me. So they're looking to buy either a V5RS or a Y1RS, and they're not sure really on what the actual differences are. Of course, one is aerodynamic, one is lightweight. But the real question is, does it really matter? I own both of these bikes and I've ridden 3,000 Ks in 2025 on each of them. I've taken them to the mountains, I've ridden them on open flat roads around here, I've ridden in group rides, I've done really fast rides and hard rides, I've done easy Sunday cafe rides on them, and I've ridden them in great weather and in crap weather. So I feel like I've got a good experience of riding a vast variety of terrains and conditions on both of these bikes to really understand what the real world differences are and how you're gonna feel. So I'm gonna break this video down into some different areas. Let's just cover the first one straight off the bat. So weight. I wanna show you on the scales though, if we're just gonna get up and we'll have a look and we'll weigh them both on exactly the same spec, and then we can see the actual difference so you can get an idea. So let's do that first. We're gonna weigh the V5 first on its current spec, and then I'll put those wheels from the V5 onto the Y1. We're gonna use these part tool scales. I know these scales aren't the most accurate in the world, but we're weighing both with these scales, so it's gonna be accurate to itself. So before you get at me in the comments, it's all I've got. I like part tool anyway. Right, so let's set that one. I'll check that out, that says 0. And now we shall weigh our V5RS. 6.7. The only things that are different from this bike, spec-wise, are the saddle and the chainring. So the chainring on the Y1RS is an aero chainring, we're about to see that. But everything else on the bike, same cassette size, same chainring size, same bearings, you know, the UDH is the same, the OSPW is the same, the chain is the same, even the bar tape is the same, same thickness, same plugs, everything. It's just the saddle, which is a little tiny bit heavier, maybe 30 grams heavier, and the chain rings are probably about 30 grams heavier as well. So the rest of the bike, the only difference you're gonna see is from the frame set. So let's take these wheels out and then we'll put them on that one. So V5RS was 6.7 exactly. Y1RS 7.3. Also, just to make it clear, that is with pedals. So I've got the same pedals on, Wahoo power meter pedals. 7.05. So what was the other one? 7.35. So 300 grams difference, which means that the V5RS without pedals is 6.4. So 650 grams difference. That is probably about the same as taking a really big dump before you ride. Basically, it's probably even less than that because the saddle on this weighs a little bit more and the chain rings weigh a little bit more. Again, there's probably 50 grams in that, so it's 600 grams difference. And like I say, you can save 600 grams by having a big wee and a dump before you ride. Right, now I've got that out of the way, let's talk about the things that actually matter. There's only 5 sizes in the Y1RS, and what that means is if you're on a specific size in a V5, either a 485 and a 510, or the next 2 sizes up, so I think it's 535 and 560. Can't remember off the top of my head, but basically, if you're in a medium or a large on a Y1RS, you'd actually be one of 2 sizes in a V5RS or any other Colnago bike. Now that does mean that you have to consider handlebar drop and stack height. Me, I'm on a 455, so that V5RS is a size 455, which equates to a size small. I could probably get away with an extra small and have way more seat post, but then I have to consider the handlebar drop because the stack height is quite a lot less, and I don't really want to run any spacers. I could probably get away with that because I ride all the time, so I'm quite used to an aggressive position and I like my bikes low anyway, so I could probably get away with it, but it is something that you're going to want to consider if you aren't that flexible. Usually though, if you've watched any of Bike Fit James's videos, people can tolerate a lot more handlebar drop than they can excessive reach and drop. So if you go for the extra small and you have the shorter reach, you could probably tolerate more drop. I want to quickly talk about how I've got both of these bikes set up for my bike fit. Now, the handlebar and the cockpit is different on both of these bikes. If you're looking at the Y1RS, probably one of the reasons that you really want to get it is because of the front end. It's really cool, it's incredibly aerodynamic, it's very unique looking. I love it personally. The cockpit on the Y1RS is called the CC-Y1, and on the V5RS or any other Colnago bike, it's called the CC.01. The sizes differ. So I have a 370mm wide bar, centre to centre on the V5RS with a 100mm stem. The closest equivalent that I could get on the CC-Y1 handlebar is 377 centre to centre at the tops, and it's a 105mm equivalent stem. So that's the closest option. Another reason why I run my saddle a little bit higher and further forward, so that I can mimic that. I also turn my hoods in a little bit anyway, so I can get that same position by the amount that I turn the hoods in. I just like that position. Another thing to consider is the actual drop itself. The drop is slightly less. It's not that much less, but the actual length of the bar itself is significantly less. And if you get used to holding the drops and you get used to holding it here, this feels strange again. It feels like they've almost cut it short. I never had a problem with this bar until I started riding this and really liked the feel of it. And then I got back on the V5RS and I was like, oh God, it's like they've cut half the handlebar off. That is, you might think that that's basically just a cosmetic thing, but where it really makes a difference is in control on descents. I definitely feel much more in control and planted on this bike, partly because of the drop. Not only because of the drop, but having that extra bit of real estate there to actually hold on to makes a big difference and gives you a lot more confidence in fast, sweeping, long descents if you are going to be doing them. So that's, again, something to consider. So that is position. Let's talk a bit about handling. Now, I have descended 20k mountain passes on both of these bikes. The first time I descended on the V5RS was Monte Grappa. The first one on the Y1RS, I think, was the Moloko video with the dam. Emerson. We descended Emerson on this one first. So I've done some pretty epic mountain descents, very fast. I think I've done about 90k an hour on each of them. So I have a good idea of how they handle under high speed and under sweeping descents. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, the Y1RS handles better. It's a little bit heavier, it's a little bit more solid. It definitely does feel a little softer around the edges than the V5RS. The V5RS is really sort of like, just wants to be, you know, it's kind of like an excited little kid. It does, however, feel a lot more like planted when you're descending. I don't know if that's just maybe the fact that I've got my saddle so far over the bottom bracket, but it's in the same sort of position on this. Maybe the design of this seat tube is the reason why, although I'm quite far over, like it takes away quite a lot of that feeling. But in terms of handling, especially on descents, I much prefer the Y1RS. It is a little bit less snappy to get moving when you get out of a sprint, but it's not though, is it? I mean, it's less than the V5 in terms of like that immediate split second, but as soon as you get going, this bike just goes, whereas that one doesn't. So it's like really hard to kind of quantify that. Handling, yeah, it's a bit more solid. At times, this bike sort of, the best way for me to describe it is like it feels as if like the bike's gone to sleep and you have to wake it up, or it's just about to like nod off. So if you're riding straight for a while and then you come to a sweeping bend, because the bearing has sort of gone solid, I think just because of this is a bayonet fork, it's just the way in which it turns, it sometimes just feels a bit like you go, whoop, and then it's awake. And it's really weird thing to explain, but you notice it more in this bike than you do in the V5. Even though the bearings are the same, and it should really be because of the same thing. I just think it might be because it's a bearing like this, and obviously you've got extra weight in the front, so it feels as if it just goes, ooh, and then it's there. But that's sort of very rare. That's just sort of if you've been riding for 20 minutes in a straight line and not really turned, and then you wake it up. Bit of a nuanced thing that, but it does happen. That's handling. Everything else pretty much solid. It's not crazy stiff, this bike. It isn't as stiff as you would imagine. The V5RS is a little bit more if you know what I mean. What else we got? Let's have a look. Aero, obviously, this is faster, way faster. To give you a bit of an idea, on the same loops, I can average about 2 to 3 kilometers an hour more for the same effort on the Y1RS. Now you can check my Strava if you want to check that. You can have a look and see the power numbers of my rides, and you'll see when I'm on the Y1RS outside, the average speed is about 2, sometimes 3k an hour more. For me immortals, you can go faster on this bike. It is a faster bike. There's no doubt about it. Crosswinds. Yes, it's deeper. It is affected by crosswinds. However, the V5RS, lower surface area, but it's lighter. It's a little bit more nimble, a little bit more twitchy. Actually, feel the crosswinds more on the V5RS than I do on this. I'm used to riding deep section wheels and stuff. If you're not used to that, you might notice it a lot on the Y1. Personally, you still notice a crosswind when you get crosswinds. The bike reacts to it more on the V5 because it's lighter and it's taking the crosswinds and it's reacting fast, whereas this isn't. One important thing to talk about is price. On the same spec, basically as a full bike, you're paying £2 more for a Y1RS. Around about, depending on where you buy it from. To buy this bike as a full bike and also buy the V5, the price difference is about £2. Now you probably, if you're looking at this bike, you're probably either upgrading, you're going to buy the frame set and you're going to move parts over. This frame set's 6,300. The V5RS is 5,500 as retail. Again, you might find different deals elsewhere. And if you do build up a custom bike, the difference in that price may be less, it may be more. That's, you know, up for debate. There's a million and one ways that you could build either of these and they would cost you different prices. But the Y1RS generally is more expensive. I appreciate this is not the most exciting video, but I get asked this a lot, and I really just wanted to make a video that was not just the same as everybody else's. Like, oh yeah, this one's aero and this one's light and this is the lightest one Colnago's ever made. And like, there's a reason that the guys in the team are only riding the Y1RS everywhere. There is a reason. You don't need the other one, but you get a choice. That's a beautiful thing. You get to have a choice. So let's do a little bit of an overall comparison and the verdict. And my verdict, I'm not going to tell you which one you should get. You can take this information however you want. Think about your riding style, think about your budget, what you like the look of best, and you can make your own choice. But based on everything that I've learned from riding both of these bikes pretty extensively through 2025, my choice is the Y1RS. That bike, in my opinion, gives you so many more benefits than penalties in terms of the weight. I wrote this out to a person who asked me about which one to get, and I am going to read it from here just because actually I quite like the way that I've written it, and it kind of makes my point in a way that I can't really ad-lib. So what I said to him was, the Y1RS is just special, it's fun, it's a mad conversation starter, it handles more predictably, and if you're not someone who really suffers in the climbs, the added weight won't make a blind bit of difference to you in the moment. But riding that bike will make a difference in a group ride. It'll make a ton of difference on the flats, downhill, on descents, in windy conditions, on rolling terrain, at high speed. I think that kind of sums it up perfectly. But at the same time, you might prefer the V5RS. So buy what you want. I hope this video has been useful in some way. I know it's not maybe the most entertaining thing in the world, but I get asked basically every 2 to 3 days about the differences between these bikes. So I thought it was definitely a video worth making. If you are looking to buy either of these bikes and you have any questions about anything that I've talked about, or maybe if there's something that I may have missed that you've got a question about, leave it in the comments below and I will get back to you. I reply to every single comment on this channel. Well, I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more bike content, and I'll see you soon. Later. Right, I want to go ride one now. Which one? I'm taking the V5 because it's better. I'm taking this one. Bitch, I'm back.